In my last video I used this old piece of wrought iron farmyard scrap, forged it out in order to make a Sanmai billet with this Oberg Swiss file, and here we are with the continuation of that video. Hey guys, so this is part 2 of forging out my new knife with the file and the wrought iron. The first thing I must do before I forget is cut off this little tang of the file. I will use that for a token when I'm heat treating the coarse steel, or heat treating all of this. So I'll use that as a reference for when I'm heat treating. I can HRC test it, etc. And I will cut that off, weld a bar on. I'm pretty sure there are different kind of grades of wrought iron. I think it probably depends on when it was made, what the factory was, etc. because it can be nice to forge or it can be really hard work. One thing I do know is it's really soft. When it's hot it moves literally like butter, which is a great thing. The only trouble being it won't move as easily as that core steel, that high carbon steel there in the center. Wrought iron has got to be hot. If you don't have it really hot and you don't forge it hot, what it does, it cracks, because it has actually got a grain, a little like wood. So the grain is running in this wrought iron, it's running down like that. And if you're too aggressive with it or you forge it too cold, it'll actually open up and crack on the grain. So I'm going to have to forge hot and forge gently and carefully. Now, as I've said, this is going to move a lot more than the core steel, so I expect that this wrought iron will kind of mushroom over the face of this core steel. So I'll just have to be careful. I'll just have to keep pushing it back, forging it out, pushing it back as I'm forging, and that'll be my process really. I need to probably have almost double that width for one part of the knife, but I'm hoping that'll be pretty easy to do. Well, I am going to apply some borax to this billet. I'm just going to take my time and just push these faces together gently at first over the anvil before going under the press and completing the forging process really. And this will be the kind of first weld set on the press with those big flattening dies. Step 2, I'll put some smaller dies in here, and I'm just this like the third time, and I'm just going to set the weld now. And this is the last one. The weld should be set now, and I can finally start forging that tip in. I'll just go gently at first. I'll just test the weld, forging, hitting it down just to make sure it's not going to open up. If it doesn't, then it's properly welded. And my next attempt at this, I can really start beating down on this and just generally draw a tip in that billet. I don't actually want to forge it to a direct point. There we go, I can really mash on it now. Give it a good beating. I'm trying to draw out this billet as much as I can, you see, because I want to make 2 more scalpels out the other end, so I'm kind of stretching it, forging the tip in, then I don't waste any steel and I can get as much as I can out of this for this knife and for 2 other ones. It also really helps that grain pattern in the wrought iron flow with the blade. Now I carried on forging, drawing out under the press and forging the shape in. I'm almost there now. I didn't want to put all the video in, guys. I thought it'd be a bit too boring. And here I'm kind of taking down the tang. It's got like a curved tang on it, this blade, and I'm further just hammering down on that, trying to draw that tang out smaller and smaller because it's like a rat tail tang on it. And I'm going to get it to a stage where I can cut this billet off like there, and that piece, which I'm happy about, is the piece that's left over, and that will make the other two knives I want. And that's what I've actually forged out, and I'm going to do a rough grind on it now after it's annealed, and put it under the surface grinder and just clean it up. So I'm now going to refine the profile and get it exactly as my pattern. The 40 grit belt on here. You see the amount of carbon in that steel from the sparks. It's got one of the small wheel attachments on. I'm just trying to clean out that finger choil back on the flat, just to clean up these flats now from the 40 grit surface grinder a little bit before I go on to the precision surface grinder and get it properly flat. And even out the core which is in the centre. So I want to take the jacket down on each side so it's perfectly even on each side, and I'll do that after I've lightly etched the blade so I can see where the core is, where the file is in the centre and where the wrought iron is on each side. Just kind of match it up, and we can get on with the rest of the process then. So there it is so far. It's been profiled. I've put it over the precision surface grinder again as well, so it's now dead flat. I wanted to forge that tail in because I wanted the grain in the wrought iron I was talking about to like follow the curve and not be, you know, finishing straight. So I've achieved that, and my next task is to find the handle material that I need for it. I'm going to use some antler, but I think I've got a piece. Got a bit of a quandary over how I'm going to fit it and how I'm going to terminate it, but I'll get around that. I was going to run some fullers in that way on the mill. I've decided not to because I think it'll look a bit too kitchen knifey if I do that. Anyway, I'll come back in a minute when we've made a bit more progress maybe. I just cannot get my antler to come up enough with this profile. I didn't really want to grind that out. I haven't got enough depth in the antler, but I'm just going to have to. I don't think it matters if I use some other kind of material for the handle. If I don't like that when I've finished, then I can still form that swell with that material. That's what I'll do. Regrind it. I actually got it. Almost where I want it to be. I just need to sort the front out now. I'm going to attach a piece of buffalo horn for a nice sort of termination there. I think that'll look pretty cool against that antler. Bit of buffalo horn there, which I'm going to slot in the mill. Just quicker, more accurate, that's for sure. That will work. Beautiful fit, as always. something like that, I think. So just going to marry them two faces up now, attach that and shape this. So with my heat treating done, I've just simply got to clean this surface off and grind the bevels on, fit the handle, job done, and an etch. I'll bring you back. This is the little token off the Oberg file. '65, '66, 67.5. So yeah, that's good. Tempering complete. 61, 62, 63.5. That'll absolutely perfect. The final step into the ferric. I honestly have not seen this knife yet. I don't know what it's going to look like etched. I have no idea. But looking at the grain in that wrought iron, I think it's going to be pretty special. I do love that rustic kind of look of wrought iron. Very, very weak acid this. You can just see it developing. I think that is going to look beautiful. I'll bring you back when that is etched. Well, I've finished. I've just put 2 pins through the handle and I did texture the buffalo horn to kind of make it sort of more blend with the antler. So pin the 2 brass pins through and I've put an edge on it, etched it, and what an edge it is. Just amazing. So I'll bring you in for a closer look at my little art knife. And there it is. I just love the way that wrought iron just blends in with the Oberg file for the edge. The antler, maybe in hindsight, if I was to do it again, I would actually forge the handle shape to fit the antler. And then I could have got a more even transition along the top. But, you know, the antler is all I had. It was one piece I had that fit and that was it. It was that or nothing. Went with that. Didn't want to further change and grind the profile to match it. So that's where we are. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm just now on with my patron knives. So there's 2 scalpels like this and there's going to be 2 Damascus scalpels as well. I think there's a little bit of a failure in one of them, so there will be 4 knives for you patrons, which I'll get in touch with you, and I'm running a video currently on the process of making those knives, so that will be up for my patrons on my channel probably the end of this week, I think, guys. So thank you for continued support. Look out for that video, guys. It's only on Patreon, so you're only going to see it on there. Thanks again. Please hit the thumb and subscribe. It's free. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.